if you're ushering, it should be an easy night. 37.
Not 28. I always think myself as being 27 or 28. In my mind. I can't do 62. I am 3,000 years old. That's what I would say to these things. That's right.
He's a babe.
So there are certain prayers that we don't do if we don't have a meeting. I don't remember the last time we haven't had a meeting. So
Do you not count those online? What's the common saying?
well, I don't think they could have.
Couldn't, that's right.
During COVID, we did count. During COVID, we did count. But I don't know. I don't have anything that tells me right now how many people we have. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
The good news is, Rabbi, we will follow wherever you go.
I will follow you. I know. Hi, how are you?
You think I'm sitting here ready to go to services without a siddur with me, Roger? I'm good to go. And thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. All right, so we got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think we're good. Because we'll, yeah. Well, there is something beautiful about looking outside and seeing the snowfall, even if it is in February, right? Yeah, better than in June, which I think we have not seen. But there is just something really special when you know that you're looking out and you're seeing that beautiful blanket of white, and it's made up of individual snowflakes, right? Snowflakes have gotten a bad rap lately because people have been calling each other snowflakes. But it's a wonderful, wonderful reflection of the individuality of every single person, right? And how 1 + 1 + 1, you can create a snowfall and a snowbank, but you can also create community, and a community that's made up of individuals. And so it's important and it's wonderful when we gather together, whether it's online, virtually on a day like this, or whether it's when we're together. And so we understand that worship and trying to appeal to something greater than ourselves, that truly takes place when we're gathered together. So we're going to join together in singing Dodi Li, which can be found on page 11 as we greet the beloved.
Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Dodi li va'ani lo haroeh b'shoshanim. Mi zot ola min hamidbar, mi zot ola. Mekuteret mor moru levona, moru levona. Dodili vanilo haroe bashoshanim dodili mizotola min hamidbar mizotola min hamidbar dodili vanilo haroe bashoshanim dodili.
And now it's a joy to call upon Abby and David Nash to have the honor of kindling our Shabbat candles. And that can be found in your Siddur on page 2. Page 2. You got this.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
May there be Shabbat light. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are now going to turn to Lechado D, which can be found on page 20. And just as the mystics of old, we'll rise as we turn to the final verse and face the door and bow on those 2 verses. Bawikala, Bawikala.
Lecha dodi likerat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likerat kala penei Shabbat nekabela shamo v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmi'anu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem multiferet v'litihila Lecha dodi likerat kala penei Shabbat nekabela Lecha dodi likerat kala penei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshavat techila lecha dodi likerat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likerat kala penei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri kiva ore kumi ori אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לי קרת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לי קרת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לי קרת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לי קרת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Let's read responsively on page 22. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-string harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Let's read together. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no wrong. We continue now with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם לעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ויאמרו אמן.
At the bottom of page 27, entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence. We rise now for the call to worship on page 28.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We continue in the Hebrew on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem berakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid imloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam on page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah uvmitzvot, Chukim umishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shochbeinu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei toratecha uvmitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla ve'ahavatcha al tasir Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
To the watchword of faith, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. We continue on page 36 with Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukeshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beineinecha uchetavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We continue reading responsively at the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, osefele, mi chamocha bailim Adonai. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze'eli anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha, mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, osefele, mi chamocha bailim Adonai. V'nemar, ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, u'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael.
Let's read together at the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We continue now on page 44 with Yismechu.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbe'u, Ve'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Uvashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata, zecher, zecher lema'aseh v'reishit Shabbat. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
Pray as if everything depended on God, but act as if everything depended on you. I love that quote. Let's turn to page 46 and rise together as we turn to the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid haga'ashem, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit, umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lehakayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We continue reading responsively at the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May
all who struggle find rest on this day.
May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 56.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu Be'amecha Yisrael U'tefilatam be'ahava Tekabel U'tehil ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha El Karov Lechol קורא בני אל עבדיך וחוננו שפוך רוחך עלינו ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון, 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 לציון.
We turn now to page 59. We read together at the bottom of the page, "When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans you are mindful of us, we mortals that you take note of us? You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot." We turn now to the prayer for peace, a prayer that we are in so much need of today. Let's join together in singing Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
In the echo of these beautiful words that speak to the nature of shalom, we also think of those who might be in need of shalem, those who are in need of wholeness. And particularly in our hearts and minds are these dear members of our community who are in need of refuat nefesh or refuat guf, a healing of spirit and a healing of body. We think of Shandel Batfrida Malka, Julie Borikoff, Carol Dubin, Steve Toplinski, Esther Cohen, Lisa Furstad, Chazan Sarah Chelba Yocheved Alexander, Avram Ben Naftali, Sophia Rubenstein, Ilana Himmelfarb, Marla Chikowski, Michael Sychek, David Rotter, Natalie Cohen, Keith Mendel, Isla Batnatan Vashoshana, Mark Cook, Dr. Susie Mendelson, Michaela Hellenberg, Michal Stroud, Susan Garrison, Ron Slavin, Peter Rotter, Roger Cook, Neil Pinsky, Layla Rosen, David Kleinman, Al Rossman, Wendy Schuster, Ann Becker, Kathy Baker, Jeanette Van Ziel, Ann Katz, Mosey Ramirez, Diane Redmond, Mark Ackerman, Ruth Resnick, Ronald Barmazel, Jeff Semmel, Carolyn Newman, Devorah Leah, Yocheved Sarah Leah, Kelly Adiniak, Richard Kranzberg, Ricky Spiegel, Benjamin Mark Hirsch, Carol Wart, Wendy Pollock, Terry Hammond, Eli Bensman, Bernie Plotkin, George Grimm, Patrick Hepe, Jerry Robert Barth, Morgan Hughes, and Jeff Peck. And if there are names to add to this list or names that should be pronounced differently than I did, I invite you to hold those names in your heart as we turn to the words of Misha Berach and these words of tradition. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim. Blessed are you, the source of healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel ve'Leah Hu Yivarech Virapeh et HaCholim Elna Refanala Elna Refanala Elna Refanala Elna Refanala Sheberach Avotenu ve'imotenu Avraham Yitzchak ve'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel ve'Leah Hu Yevarech Virapeh et HaCholim.
These beautiful words of healing still echoing in our hearts and minds, we take this time for the prayers of the innermost recesses of our hearts.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'imru amen.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
I have a love-hate relationship with February. I don't know about you. There's something about February. When we look at the calendar and thinking about what's leading up to it, September is the high holidays. I love the high holidays, sometimes in October. Usually Sukkot is in October, November, Thanksgiving. December is sort of the holiday season. You know, we're off of work into January, the celebration of the secular New Year. And February has almost nothing to offer us other than the continuation of winter, right? Right. That's true. This is a debate in my house. And as as you know, I've always sort of had a pushback on Valentine's Day. I always said to my wife, you know, it's Saint Valentine's Day, and then she would get me the most, I don't know how to explain, non-Jewish Valentine's card you could possibly imagine. That's what she would find to get me. No, February just doesn't do it, especially since there's Tu B'Av, right, which is a day of love that exists within Jewish tradition. So February just doesn't do it for me. It marks the time of year I officially become fed up with winter. And especially after this week where we saw the warmth of just a few days ago, only to have this snowfall that's happening now, it's the perfect example. And despite how beautiful a snowfall like the one we're in the middle of today, I really reached the point in which I'm ready. I'm ready for winter to end. I'm ready for spring. So that's why I hate February. But why I love February is that the darkness in the morning and even in the evening becomes a little less all-encompassing, right? Have you noticed that? It's lighter, longer for those of us who are sensitive to light. Knowing that we are on an upswing is important. So knowing that each night the darkness will be a bit less lengthy is certainly important. So in examining this week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh, I am always struck by how central the theme of light is to the Torah and to our people. So let me give you an example. This Torah portion begins with the words, Ve'ata tetzaveh et b'nei Yisrael v'yichu elecha shemen zait zach katit le'mor le'maor le'haolot ner tamid, which is, you shall further instruct the Israelites to bring you clear oil of beaten olives for lighting, for kindling lamps regularly. This is the command to light the 7-branch menorah. If we look over here, it's the 5-branch menorah, but that light is going to grow also as we got new light bulbs coming this week. A 7-branched lampstand that is fueled by oil. And the menorah stands as one of the most important ancient symbols within our Jewish heritage. It actually is the oldest one. Its imagery is carved into stone and captured in mosaics, minted on coins, even portrayed on sarcophagi. Notably, the menorah, part of the treasures taken from the Second Temple, is famously illustrated on the Arch of Titus. Near the Knesset, the heart of Israel's democracy, stands a magnificent bronze menorah, sculptured by Bino Elkan, narrating pivotal moments in our collective history through the artwork itself. It's truly extraordinary. And the design of the menorah, with a central shaft and branches extending to each side, suggests a botanical figure, mirroring the Torah's own description of it in terms reminiscent of branches and blossoms and cups shaped like almond flowers that are ready to sprout. And the botanical imagery has led to some to propose that the menorah may have been inspired by the Moriah plant found in Israel, a type of sage, positioning the menorah as a stylized tree, which is really incredible when you look at the tree of life that we have in our main sanctuary. That there is that 7-branched menorah, which is framed by the tree of life. And that's just one of the ways in which the tree of life, with the 7 branches extending up, is such a beautiful reflection of our history and our future. But there's an ancient commentary that I want to share with you tonight, and it comes from the Pesichta de Rav Kahana. And this is an ancient text, roughly around 2,000 years old. Rav Aha said, Israel is likened to an olive tree, a leafy olive tree, fair with goodly fruit. That's from Jeremiah. And the Blessed Holy One is likened to a lamp. The lamp of Adonai is the spirit of humans. That comes from Proverbs. What use is made of olive oil? It is put into a lamp, and then the two together give light as though they were one. Hence, the Blessed Holy One will say to Israel, My children, since my light is your light, and your light is my light, let us go together, you and I, and give light to Zion. Arise, give light, for your light has come. I love this commentary. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And there's a beautiful relational element to this text. The lamp of Adonai is the spirit of humans, and the light that exists is a mutual one. It is God's and it's ours, and together we give light to Zion. So what might this teach us? The symbiotic relationship between the divine and humanity, likened to the olive oil and the lamp together, produce light. The producing light is a metaphor that beautifully illustrates how intertwined our existence is with the divine presence, suggesting that just as the days grow longer in February, our spiritual connection and capacity for bringing light into the world can also always grow, no matter what we see in the world. And I can't help but think and articulate how dark the world has been feeling lately, right? It's not just the season. When confronted with darkness, it might be easy to forget aspects of our divine mission. And that mission is to kindle the lamps. Wisdom can come from all different places, and I want to share with you the lyrics of a song that comes from the sequel to the beloved children's classic Mary Poppins. Did you know there was a sequel? I took my kids to see it. It was very sweet. And it's got some catchy numbers that bring an important message forward. And one of the lead characters has the job of a lamplighter, played by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also wrote the music for the movie. And at one point he sings about the job of the lamplighter, or as they called them in England at the time, Learys. He says, "A Leary loves the edge of night, though dim to him the world looks bright. He's got the gift of second sight to trip a little light fantastic. A Leary's job to light the way, to make the night and make it day. We mimic the moon, yes, that's our aim, for we're the keepers of the flame. And if you're deep inside a tunnel and there is no end in sight, we'll just carry on until the dawn. It's darkest right before the light, as you trip a little light fantastic with me." Sometimes when you break down these children's songs, right, there's a lot of wisdom in them. And when we gather together on Shabbat, like we are today, even though we're few and the proud and the mighty, as families here and as well as in our homes, when we kindle the Shabbat light, it's a powerful symbol, perhaps as powerful as it's ever been, and one that we can't take for granted. But symbolism doesn't end with the act of lighting. It extends to the way we live our lives. And just as the Leary navigates through the darkness with a lantern to light the path, so too are we tasked with navigating the challenges of our time with the light of Torah and our Jewish values guiding us. The message of Trip a Little Light Fantastic is a call to action for each of us to find joy in our duty as bearers of light, to uplift others with our deeds, and to face the darkness with a steadfast spirit of optimism and faith. Our ancestors knew this might be hard. In fact, there's a commentary about the oil itself that expresses the oil as an analogy that comes from the Talmud, where it says that just as olives only produce oil when pressed really in a challenging way, so too do the Jewish people yield their greatest contributions spiritually, intellectually, and morally under the pressures and challenges and adversities. So my experience just recently in Israel, and in my experiences in this community in Milwaukee, bears out this truth. We shine brighter in the face of darkness, and we light the path for each other. So let me ask you, since we're in this small space, maybe if you want to take just a moment and sort of think to yourself, in this time of adversity, what are ways that you feel that you can beat back the darkness and bring a little light, fantastic, to our community? So I'm going to give you just a moment to think. And if you're ready to share something, you can put up your hand and I'll call on you. Yeah, go ahead.
I speak to hundreds of people every week. I teach them skepticism and cynicism because I'm teaching them how not to get scammed.
Yeah.
I never present without reminding them, glass isn't half full. It's 99% full. The 1% gets a lot of attention, and it should. Never forget we are far more blessed than we are.
Yeah. Ben, by the way, that speaks to exactly who you are. You've been basically saying that to me since I've known you for 12 years. So.
Someday I may get you.
Okay, well, we're talking about light tonight, right? That's right. Anyone else want to share ways that you can bring light to the community? Go ahead, Roger. Yeah. Yeah. Certainly when you look into the eyes of a child that you're teaching, or of your own children or grandchildren, it forces you to not be a pessimist, right? You can't be a pessimist. I think you're fantastic. Yeah. Singing in harmony is something, and singing in choirs. They actually say that it extends people's lives. Did you know that? That they did studies that people who sing in choirs, that it extends their life and the quality of their life, but also by bestowing that on others. That's such a beautiful gift. And there you go. Cantor does it all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, laughter. Yeah, music does that, right? Absolutely, and so does community. Well, first off, I want to thank you for sharing, because those are beautiful, and honestly, in all the ways in which you bring light to your community, whether it's teaching, bringing that light through singing, as well as a sense of optimism to the world, right? You bring a tremendous amount of light to our community. So in the season of increasing light, may we find renewed strength to carry on our mission, inspired by the enduring symbols of our faith, like the menorah, and the timeless messages of our tradition. And let us embrace the task of lighting the way for ourselves, our communities, and for all who journey alongside us toward a brighter future. Together, let's trip a little light fantastic and make the world a place where light overcomes the shadows, where hope dispels despair, and where love and justice reign supreme. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Shkor.
So we're going to turn now to Elenu. With maybe the Turners, would you like to come up and open up the ark doors? Thank you. And we're going to turn to page 282. That's 282. And it's a joy to call upon the Turners to open up our ark doors.
Please rise.
Thank you, Cantor.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula le'yotze breshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Also, what's nice about the summer months is that the wood expands a little bit more.
And closes.
The doors stay closed. That's also very helpful. We're going to take a moment and recite the prayer for the state of Israel right now, especially as as we're seeing events that are happening in the east. We know that our hearts are turned in that direction, and so we turn to page 259, and we're going to rise once again. Sorry about that. As we turn to the words of Avinu Shabbat Shamayim. Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, Sur Yisrael v'Goalo. Barech et Medinat Yisrael Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu. Hagen aleha be'evrat chastecha, ufros aleha sukat shlomecha. Ushlach orcha ve'amitcha, v'rasheha sareha ve'yotzeha ve'tiknem be'etza tova miofanecha. V'natata shalom ba'aretz v'simchat olam, liyoshbeha v'nomar amen. And in English, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. And let us say, Amen. And we turn now to Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on 294. And as we do, we recite the names of dear ones who have passed into life eternal. We regret to inform the community of the passing of Richie Sack. His funeral will be next week, and we believe it'll be on Wednesday. We're not entirely certain of the time. We are also marking the Shiva period for Margot Roz and Nancy Williams. We also think of those for whom we mark the period of Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period for Thea Greenberg, Ruth Peterman, Barbara Recht, Audrey Rubin, Walter Shapiro, and Betty Whiteson. In addition to those names, too, we think of those who passed away in seasons gone by for whom we mark their yard site, and we feel as though we walk in their footsteps. We think of Fanny Aaron, Nancy Golden Bear, Helen Berger, Roman Blank, Chaim Buam, Robert Karp, Alex Cooper, Maureen Eichenbaum, Molly Fabric, Jeanette Fagenbaum, Maurice R. Furstad, Florence S. Frank, Eugene G. Gilbert, Selwyn Glincher, Nancy Golden Bear, Joseph Goldman, Vance Heyman, Solly Himes, Ned Jones, Susan Codner, Reuben Cosberg, Irvin Laddish, Jack Landsberg, Bertha Liebman, Leo Lieberman, Simon Lukács, Saul Lubar, Laura Miller, Hannah Moser, Viola Nias, James M. Pash, Bernice Pekarsky, Sophie Patashnik, Fred Radin, Gail Riches, Nathan Routman, Charles Sack, Earl Scheiman, Harold Singer, Herman Spiegler, Lorraine Steinman, Matthew Savalsky, Joseph Tarlow, Annie Weber, Elaine S. Weber, Phyllis Weinberg, Margaret Weiss, Eleanor White, Morris Yano, Howard Young, Julian Zaret, Oliver Zesblatt. If there are names that should be added to this list or names that should be pronounced differently than I did, please do call those names as I look in your direction. In addition to the names of our loved ones, so too do we think of all those who have died due to war and/or terrorism. We think of all of the victims of the terrible war that is taking place in the Middle East. We think of all those who have died in defense of this nation and allied nations' ideals. We think of all those who have died due to the terrible viruses of racism and xenophobia, as well as those who perished during the Holocaust. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to words that are sanctified by memory and glorified by hope. The Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 294. We recite these sacred words together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayichon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'yimru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulamei almaya. V'it barach v'ishtabach v'it pa'ar v'it ramam v'it naseh. V'it adar v'it alev v'it alal shmei dekudesha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Ose Shalom bimromav. Hu Yaseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated, unless your name is Ben Marins, in which case you are stepping forward, and it is always a joy to share the bima with you, Ben. And we're grateful that you're going to make the announcements on behalf of our congregation.
Yeah. I must tell you a couple things before you sit.
Yeah.
I was about your age when I listened to her, and she said, you don't have to get flowers, they're so expensive, you know. And I realized the year I didn't get them, I never call it St. Valentine's Day, just Valentine's Day, but it's not for you, it's for her.
This is going to be an interesting conversation between Michelle and Lauren.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. When I was on the radio and had a show in the afternoons, I would look over my shoulder about this time of year, and as you said, we'd see the days are getting brighter. So even though it was February, there was something that was hopeful about being in February. And while you may not like the extension of February, we get an extra February day this year. It is an extra day to count our blessings and to be blessed. And no matter what the temperature is out, could be 50, 30, next week 70, all in February, there's warmth to be had in our community here. Whether it's Shabbat service on a Friday night, or tomorrow morning we'll have Torah study at 9, and we'll have Shabbat morning service at 10, and lunch as well. Sunday on the 25th of February, there's a Boker Tov religious school at 8:15 and religious school at 9:30. Again, more community for us all. We ask you to stop in if you want coffee at 9:30 to 11. You can meet fellow congregants and talk with them, have some coffee, a little nosh, and relax. Sunday, our own Cantor Berman is being honored by the Coalition for Jewish Learning with the Lifetime Achievement Award, and Mandy Winke will receive an award for school support. Nicole Byko will be receiving the Teacher Impact Award, and the event begins at 4:30. It's at the JCC, and you're all invited. If you want to go, contact the Temple office, and we have more information for you there. Sunday, March 17th is the Purim Carnival and the raffle, and that takes place from 11 to 1. Saturday, March 23rd is the Megillah reading and a fun night with comedy sports. That starts at 6 o'clock. And if you want more details, just watch your email. We'll be sending them. We have 2 new adult education classes that start in March. Rabbi Noah will have a class on angels in Jewish thought on March 19th. And starting on March 26th, Cantor Perper and Cantor Faith Steinschneider will have a class on the history of Jewish music. This class will take place for 4 Tuesdays in a row from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Tuesday, April 23rd is Congregation Shalom's second Seder. We ask you to please save the date and plan on joining us, and make sure that you call the office and let us know if you want to be there. Watch the shofar in your emails and Facebook and the webpage, because we have lots more coming, and we'll put it out there. Shabbat Shalom.
So we are now going to turn from announcements to Kiddush. It's meaningful to turn from Kaddish to Kiddush, right? Sanctification of those who've passed, sanctification of the life that we're living, and the fact that our cups are certainly overflowing with blessings. And they're overflowing with blessings because we have such wonderful people in our community like you, Roger. So it's only right that you should step forward and lead us in the Kiddush. Let's rise together as a community as we turn to this sweet symbol.
Kiddush can be found on page 4. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kadsho b'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu Zikaron lemaaseh v'reishit ki hu yom tefillah lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol Shabbat Kodesh.
קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Love the harmonizing too. That was beautiful. So it truly is a beautiful day, despite the snow, and maybe because of the snow too. So let's talk about the beauty of this day in our closing song, our closing hymn, which can be found on page 330. 330, Ma Yafeh Hayom. How beautiful is this day?
Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Dai 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 dai. Ya da dai 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 dai. Ya dai 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 dai. Ya da dai dai dai. And to all those at home, Shabbat Shalom.